right, thank you all for staying for a little Q&A. Real quickly, I'd like to, we have some of the cast and crew here, and I'd like to go ahead and have them come on up. This is the first Q&A we've had without a mic stand.
You want a mic stand?
Oh, no. Because, well, we might want one because Jeremy likes to stand like this real low to it. So anyway, real quickly, this is Jeremy Clark. He plays the vagrant. This is a really low-budget film, so we all had to wear a lot of hats. And Holly Lynn Ellis not only played the girl, but she was a producer and everything else you could ever ask for. This is my best friend and filmmaking partner, producer, production designer, Doug Mueller. Doug storyboarded most of this film, and you have to give him full credit for having the bride on the shoulders of the vagrant on top of the car. This is Ashley Martin Bias. She is a co-writer and executive producer. This is Bryant Mock, producer, production designer, and cop. He hates when I do that. And Tank, we just call him Tank. He was the gaffer and grip. All right, if anybody has any questions? Yes?
Wondering where you got the idea?
It came from necessity. We felt like it was time to make a feature film, and we knew how much money we thought we could raise. So I tried to write something around that. A few characters. And then I grew up in Minot, North Dakota. Went to high school there along with Holly and Doug. And I knew that with 3 characters, if we shot it in this, or wrote a script around North Dakota in the wintertime, that would be our 4th character, and then I could write something around the idea of some guy trying to survive by himself out of this car with, very little. And then it just turned into what became Prairie Love. Yes?
So I grew up in Bismarck. Hey! And,
Uh-oh.
you did a wonderful job of producing just like that.
Well, thank you very much. It was a very difficult shoot. The temperatures out there on the prairie were unbearable. Negative 40 with wind chill on a daily basis, and I'm glad that you approve of what it looks like.
Of course, the acting is wonderful too, but it was really fun.
Thank you. You had a question right there, right?
I was going to ask you how hard it was to shoot that. Was the wind burn real? Or was that
The wind burn was makeup. Our makeup artist is not here anymore, but Jeremy might want to tell you a little bit about what it's like to put on that makeup and take it off every day.
Putting it on was great. I just sat there for an hour and a half while she put the grease in the hair and messed up the beard and took it on. Taking it off was another story, as you had to kind of sit and scrape it off slowly. But there are times where some of that stuff was real. You notice, like the face mask. The ice that gathered on our face mask was real. As we were breathing through it, it would instantly freeze as it was coming out the other side because it was so bitter cold out there. So she didn't have to do too much in terms of like ice crystal kind of work. But yeah.
Yes.
Just the lines at the beginning and the lines at the very end were really similar, but not exactly the same. And I was wondering if that incongruence was deliberate or what the
I think they're similar enough that that you can correlate the two once you start hearing her talk about it at the end. But we didn't want to give it all away in the beginning. Just set it up, and then she would explain it in greater detail at the end. I'm sure somebody wants to know about the deer or something, right? Or...
There are no credits for the deer.
Well, that deer had no respect, so.
It was Noel.
Was?
The significance of the deer is I thought it would be funny if a deer ran away. But then it was important because this is sort of an outrageous story. And I think if we're going to get on board and follow the obscurity and believe that he shoots himself in the forehead and so it keeps going and we get on board, I think early on I wanted to create this atmosphere that anything could happen. And also it was going to be funny later on to be able to have to chop the dead deer's leg off. I thought. Yes.
So talk about the light. Is the light dusk or dawn or all day long? That low?
Well, I'll let Tank come over here and talk about that a little bit. He worked with our DP, Lawrence Schweik, and he likes to complain about being out in the weather, so that'll be a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, what was the question about the light?
When was it?
Like what time?
Dusk or dawn?
Well, any particular part of the movie?
Particularly the last part. I think.
The last part. Okay. Well, that was we were fighting. One time we really like to shoot is what we call magic hour. It's when the sun is just about setting, and the location that we chose to get that beautiful church in the background happened to be protected by a area of snow that was about 6 foot deep. So we were really trying to get the camera and some reflectors out there, and it took a really long time. And all of a sudden we were racing the sun. So it was really deep into sunset, and I was running around like crazy trying to get it going, and the DP was helping me out a lot. But
What did the DP say?
that's when we actually coined the phrase that it was a war, because as we were trying to literally swim through 6 feet of snow, he's like a 6'6" huge monster man, and he was just able to like straddle over the snow unbelievably, and he was charging. I've never seen him like that before, but that was sunset.
Well, and also there's not a lot of daylight in the wintertime in North Dakota, so it's like the sun would start to come up at 9:30 and then set at 4:30. So it would take us forever to get out there because of nothing. We had to tow everything, and the vehicles didn't work, and it was a pain. And Tank's downplaying the war. Lawrence started screaming, "This is a war! This is a war, everybody!" And so then we got our shots off.
How long did it take you to shoot it?
It took 24 days. We had scheduled 18, and we were so hard. Whatever we could get that day is what we got. So we just kept shooting until we couldn't shoot any longer. Until everybody's checks started bouncing, and then we just called it. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
You keep mentioning the weather, and it was obviously really cold. How in the world did you talk the one actor into being out there in his underwear? It wasn't really that hard.
Well, why don't I have Jeremy act as the Nodak answering this question?
No. That guy had it easy. It was me carrying it back with him only wearing his underwear that was really rude. No, Garth, he was here for the first part of the week, but he had to fly out Wednesday morning. And Garth is really like one of those guys who's just kind of like, okay. Really? Okay. And so that was the question. He was like, does he say, Garth, I want you to run down the street in your underwear? Really? Okay. But the crew was phenomenal. I mean, what you don't realize in all of these shots, for all three of us, when needed, there was somebody like immediately off frame with a blanket. That was a great scene because there was every time they'd cut, within an instant, there were blankets around him. One of the cars that was running was pulled up and hop in and just sit inside. Gassed had it easy. We took naps and drank hot cocoa and hung out in the cars playing solitaire on our cell phones. Well, these guys ran around like idiots all day long in the snow. So,
All right, we have time for one more question. Yes.
So where did the idea of Prairie Love come from? Is that a Nodak folklore, or where'd you come up with that?
The script was originally called Bride to Be, and we were just a couple weeks from shooting, I think, and I throughout pre-production, which we had done for a month in North Dakota, and continually working on the script, and it just, there was something missing, and so I made that up, and just because it sort of fit the story and tied everything together, and then made it up and called it Prairie Love. All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Don't forget to turn in your ballots.
I like they said no, but you ended up doing that like 5 times.